I just got this neglected Schwinn mountain bike from Facebook Marketplace, and today we're going to be fixing it up, making it rideable and presentable so that we can sell it for a profit. As you can see, the bike is in pretty rough shape. There's built up dirt everywhere and a lot of bolts have surface rust. The chain is also pretty rusty, so the drivetrain will definitely need some attention. We also have a few loose cables that need to be sorted out so the shifting and braking works properly again. Plus some scratches on the frame that we need to clean up or touch up to improve the look. Then we'll move on to getting the brakes and shifters working properly. Alright, let's get started. I started by taking both of the wheels off the bike along with the super rusty chain. Then I unfastened the cables, loosened the rear derailleur bolt, and removed it. While I was back there, I also took off the rear brake caliper. Next, I removed the front brake caliper followed by the front derailleur. Then I moved on to the cranks. As you can see, there's quite a bit of wobble, so hopefully all we need to do is tighten everything up and re-grease it to fix the issue. After that, I started to remove the cranks. To do this, you need a crank puller, a special tool that threads into the crank and pulls the spindle off. They're pretty cheap and usually only around $5. Then I tried to remove the spindle, but I didn't have the correct tool, so I used a hammer and vice grips to get it out. As you can see, the spindle is very rusty and so are the bearings. One of the bearing cages is even broken, so it's not holding the bearings in properly. After that, I removed the kickstand and took everything off the handlebars, including the brakes, shifters, and grips. Then I loosened the stem cap, the stem bolts, which allowed me to remove the handlebars and stem. That allowed me to take the fork out and inspect the headset bearings. These were also very dry, so they're going to need to be re-greased. Here are all the parts we took off the bike. Tomorrow we'll clean up all the dirty parts and touch up some of the scratched areas. Before I went inside, I also put all the rusty parts in Evaporust to let them soak overnight. Alright guys, it's the next day and I already took out all the parts that were in the deruster fluid and cleaned those up really good, so those are ready to go. And then now we just gotta clean up all these other parts in this bucket so we can put them back on the bike. While I waited for the parts to finish drying, I started touching up some of the bigger scratches. Then, while the paint was drying, I turned my attention to the wheels. I started by removing the old yellow dork disc. After that, I decided to service the wheels. I started by taking the hub apart, then degreasing both the hub and all the bearings. Once that was done, I re-greased everything and put it all back together. The whole process took about an hour, so I'm only going to show you the rear wheel. But anyways, after the service, both of the hubs felt way better. While I still had the grease out, I decided to do the headset as well. I packed all the bearings with plenty of grease, slid the fork back in, and tightened down the stem cap. Then I started putting the bottom bracket back together. I greased the bearings and the spindle before installing everything back onto the bike. Once everything was tightened down, I put both cranks back on. There was still a little bit of wobble, but it was way better than before, and it shouldn't make much of a difference while riding. Now that all the dirty work was done, I reinstalled both brake calipers, as well as the handlebars and the brake and shift combo. I even picked up these cheap grips that will make the bike look way better for only $2.50. Then I quickly touched up some of the scratches on the bars with a Sharpie because the touch-up paint would have been way too dark. The next thing I did was install both wheels. Then I put on the front and rear derailleur and the chain. After that, I connected all the cables to the derailleurs and brakes. Alright guys, I couldn't finish it up yesterday because it started getting dark outside. All we need to do is just make sure it's braking and shifting well, and then we'll do the final touch-ups before taking photos and posting it onto Facebook Marketplace. And with that, we're finally done with the flip. I think the bike turned out way better, but let me know what you think in the comments. I decided to test it out on our small jump, just to shake everything loose. Alright, it didn't fall apart, so I'd say it's ready to sell. I went and found a good spot to take pictures. Taking good pictures is one of the most important parts of selling a bike, because the photos are the main thing the buyers have to go off of. So I took some clean pictures, wrote a simple description, and waited. Alright, it's about 12 hours later and I've got a buyer come and get the bike in about 20 minutes. And if that doesn't fall through, I've got a backup offer. So I'll see you then. The buyer ended up paying full price of $60. That might not seem like a lot, but I'll definitely take it. I probably could have listed it for a lot more because I got over 10 offers within the first few hours. So I probably could have made closer to 90 on it. However, this was still a great project and it was awesome flipping this bike. In the next video, I'll be flipping another cheap bike, but I'll be selling it for way more than this one. So if you want to see that, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out.